Yo, what's up? Late Night Live. This is episode 38. How's everyone doing? We got Ace of Jack's Media Grounds, Chris on his phone.
How's it going? Yep. Happens when you
Ball
get text
Saucy's in the
messages.
chat. Play any games last week, Chris?
Let's see. I played quite a few this last week. I dabbled in a new one on Steam I bought called Crow Country, which was a throwback to Resident Evil. It kind of has the tank controls that the old game has. What else? I tried to 100% Astrobot and those symbol levels can go fuck themselves.
Dude, I beat all the symbol levels.
I hate those levels.
But my wife is currently working on one. I don't know if you remember the one where you got the rubber duck and he sputes water, but there's so it starts off, you got to go across this lava field and there's spinning grates with flame on them. You got to go over that. And then there's another part where this guy shoots missiles at you, and then you got to pass over that, and it's a whole thing. And
Yeah.
I remember beating it, and it was no big deal. And now she's trying to have me beat it for her, and I haven't been able to do it. So she was doing a lot of it on the PlayStation Portal. I told her to go on the TV because there's less lag. But no, yeah, it's a good challenge for sure.
Yeah, those ones you have to be pretty much perfect to get through them. Otherwise, it just boots you right back to the beginning of it. And but there's that, and then of course Nintendo World Championship. I got back into that again.
Nice.
And there's some other ones I played, but I don't remember. Oh, Star Wars Outlaws. I did some more of that.
Oh, good.
So
that'll make Travis happy.
Yeah.
Your Iron Meat video motivated me to play the new Contra. Yeah,
Ooh.
I think Meatball, if you compare the two, I think you'll like Iron Meat better than Contra, the Galuga. I don't know what it's called. I have a copy. Yeah. I played the demo. I need to go back into it, but 8-Bit Gaming legend Dathan is in the house. Professor.
Good evening, class. Hope everyone had a good week.
Did you get to play any games last week, sir?
Not as much as I would have liked. It was a very, very busy week. I did play a little bit of Astrobot on the Portal and a little bit of Vampire Survivors on Portal as well. That was about it. Not much else.
That sounds good. Sounds like good times. Travis.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Any games last week?
Yeah. Star Wars Outlaws up until God of War Ragnarok came out.
Right. Was that
God of War Ragnarok?
Was that today?
That was yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah. So it has some bugs though, the PC port does. Which unfortunately is to be expected. Yeah. But once that I figured out the workaround for it, it was mainly just resolution issues with just my monitor. That's just the standard built-in laptop monitor. But whatever their lazy QA did, they screwed up. But regardless, got it working, and it is crazy how much smoother and how much better of a game it feels than Star Wars Outlaws. I was getting used to Star Wars Outlaws and playing it, right? Because I spent a lot of time in it so far. But you jump into God of War Ragnarok and it just feels so good.
Polished.
It just feels great. That I can tell that game's going to be like God of War was a big surprise to me. I went into that game with no expectations. I kind of expected not to necessarily like it. It ended up being one of my favorite games. And this one, when I hopped into it after 20 minutes in it, I was like, okay, That's why I liked the other one. My minor quip is this: every one of those Ubisoft games that I've been playing a lot of, the special action I think is the bottom button in your little grid. In God of War, or maybe it's I forget if it's evade or whatever. Evade and special action between those two games are reversed. So I could remap it, but that's just not in my nature. Like, I play it the way it was programmed to be, as opposed to remapping it. But gosh, man, you'd think that at some point in the industry, people would be like, every time that I've sat down at a PlayStation game, evade has been this button, so I'll just go ahead and keep it that way.
You know
But
what
for some reason in God of War they went the opposite.
You know what messes me up is, for me, a jump button should
Yeah.
be like A or X on the PlayStation. It should be the bottom one.
The bottom one, correct.
And then, but there's some games that have you jump with the top button, and that always throws me off.
The top
it seems
one.
like there was some game recently that had that.
Elden Ring.
What about games that don't let you
It
jump?
might have been. Well, yeah, that's crazy too.
Like the games where you're like, oh, I should jump, and then it's like, no, we don't allow jumping in this game. Just run over it or special action it or whatever. It's like, come on, just let me jump over the rock.
I mean, Zelda Ocarina of Time, there was no jump.
No jump, yeah.
Nope.
Maybe that's where it got inherited from. But anyway, so far God of War looks to be good. I mean, I'm barely in it, like 2 hours into it. I'm sure that by now everybody's played it, so I don't bother spoiling it. But I had my first encounter with Thor, so I think that I'm just like in the beginning. But it feels good. It looks good. I'm glad that Sony is. I mean, because this is just coming off doing the Uncharted stuff. I'm glad Sony's bringing the games over, because as somebody who never had a PlayStation, clearly I missed out on some good experiences. So yeah, it's cool that they're bringing it over.
Leakrian's in the chat. Evening, the duck level took Astrobot from a 10 to 9 for me, so he didn't like it. Just a bad designed hardcore level in a platformer. The rest of them are perfect level of skill and timing.
Do you have to beat that? Do you have to beat that level? Like,
no. To beat the story, you don't need to. But if you want to get the platinum trophy, you gotta get every bot, and that's one of the bots is in that level. But it's weird. Like I beat that last week, I think, and I'm having more trouble helping my wife tonight get that one than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
So. We got a good show for you tonight, guys. So I've been playing a little Dead Rising yesterday, and I got some footage of that. We got some images of the new Switch 2 I want to get to. Also the PlayStation 30th stuff. I know we were kind of down last week on that $700 price tag for the PlayStation Pro, but maybe now we got a little FOMO now. And Adam on Twitter wanted me to talk about the Concord stuff that just got leaked or revealed. So, and
real
then
quick, can I ask Chris though what he thinks of Galaxy, because he didn't give us 2 cents on it, or Outlaws? Sorry,
please.
Oh, Outlaws.
Yeah, like my review on it was a little negative, with the clunky feel.
So I agree with you. It is a pretty clunky game, and I found that it relies a little too heavily on the little creature for the stealth missions.
Oh yeah.
I found the stealth missions are super easy once you realize if you just have your little creature go out and do stuff. It's a cakewalk to go through, and so the last couple of stealth areas I've gone through, I was just kind of like, send it out and I'm done. And I'm like, well, I don't know.
I think you're playing the patched version, because when I started first playing it, man, those were hard, dude. And I was sending out the little friend. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
I
no,
ignored the little friend, and I also just found out right before God of War came out that you have a stun option on your gun, so you can just stun people too and get past them. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that. Like I missed that part of the tutorial or whatever.
yeah,
So yeah,
it's the RB button, I believe, is the one that does stun.
hmm
But I also, the other thing that I really don't, I was kind of like, well, this is stupid, is once the prompt goes from sneak through the level to escape the level,
yeah.
you no longer have to sneak. You can just
Right.
run through and attack. So once your
Oh,
little
okay.
prompt up above like changes from sneak through whatever the area is, you no longer have to be stealthy, and it's like, well, that kind of takes away the purpose of. I'm still in the middle of like this base. Like I just finished doing the, what is it, the Pike um, fortress, going through there,
Yep. The
and I was
first
like,
one. Yeah.
I'm still in the middle of it, and it's like no longer telling me to sneak. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't
Oh,
have to
you're
sneak
still in
any.
the really beginning of the
Yeah,
game.
he's in the
Yeah,
very beginning. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I was just curious. I wanted to see if I was the only negative one on that. But yeah, I just
I,
like I
it,
said, to me it just feels really clunky.
yeah, and I mean, it's just interesting to me that Ubisoft has two different game engines they use.
Yeah.
And instead of utilizing the Assassin's Creed game engine for this one, they went with their Anvil. Or no, this one uses the Snowdrop,
Yeah.
and the Assassin's Creed uses Anvil. And it's like, you kind of, with the Assassin's Creed one, you kind of did a little bit more with the climbing and everything. So I don't know
hmm
why you wouldn't utilize that game engine, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, and it certainly is one of those interesting ones.
hmm
Um, I was gonna say, with the fear of missing out that you talked about, Ryan, with Dead Rising Remaster, I saw
Yeah,
that the physical edition is not coming out till November.
exactly.
So if you wanna play it, you can only do it digital right now.
Yeah, that's the way Capcom is on their releases now. So, but you know what?
Oh.
I don't have to worry about getting a scratch disc, and it was only $50, so it's not a full price $70 game.
Yeah, it's
Uh, but you
well,
know what? Maybe I just go digital now. Don't tell Eric. I don't
and
know.
they're not the only ones that are doing it. Devolver Digital is also uh, got their physical copies coming out after the digital releases. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if more of them are going to do that, and they get the majority of players are probably digital anyway, so they're getting their money up front, and then they invest a little money on near the end toward the physical copies. So
well, and I do wonder with that too, because they, like Astrobot in Japan, there were articles saying it was a failure over there because they only sold 12,000 physical copies, but they don't track digital sales, so they have no way of knowing how many digital copies of Astrobot was sold over there.
right.
And it's like, well, how do we know that the digital versions are selling more if they're not tracking them? Or
Um,
are they taking a Netflix approach where they have all the data, they're just not releasing it to the public because, why let them know what we know, and we can, if you're running the Sony store or the Xbox store or whatever, you can kind of go to the developers and tell them, hey, we sold this many copies digitally, and they have no way of actually knowing whether or not that's true. So it's like, hey,
well, I think they do. They know exactly what the numbers are. They just don't have to share them with the public. Say in spirits, come on, how often do you get a scratch disc? Well, once was enough, my friend. But last I heard, it seems like I was hearing that it was like a 70 digital, 30% physical split, and it might be worse now. So,
well,
but back to this game. You know what? I don't have a physical copy of this right now, but I still have my original. And if there's I put it the right way. If there's one copy that's probably going to be worth something, it's the original. So I have that. But compared to the original 360 game, this runs amazing, and the frame rate is nice. I got one more video here.
Well, and you're able to aim and move and
Oh
shoot.
yeah, do you remember the last time? That was the big thing. Is the aiming was terrible, and in a span of I've only played this 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, but I was able to get to this part like easily. So like the guys that are out in the courtyard, first of all, you got to go find the weapon shop in the mall and take out the boss there, and then you get the shotgun, and then you can just take these guys out no problem. But I remember the original 360 version. When I did this took me forever to beat these guys, and they're gonna try to take me out, but don't mess with me with a gun. But this part is so much fun because like I just remember like you got to get the car. That's when it gets crazy. Watch out for the zombies in the dark. And I got my my bear head on. I can barely see it. This
I think
part
as long as the controls aren't super clunky like they used to be.
Yeah, no.
I'd be all for it. That was my biggest gripe with the OG on the 360 was it was too like blocky looking, and just, like the movements weren't very smooth and stuff like that.
I do hate like every survivor in the mall is like injured somehow. And like if you want to really save them, like you got to clear out every zombie, I feel like. But yeah, oh yeah. So you can now we can drive with the car. And right there's the motorcycle. So I know I need to go back and get that motorcycle to do some sweet jumps. But you go down here and you can just start mowing these zombies over. It's so much fun. You never played this? The graphics, it's like using the same engine that Resident Evil 4 Remake did.
It's still got the time limit from the original, doesn't it?
It still has the time limit, right?
Yeah.
You got 72 hours to get out of the mall.
Oh, that's right. That was the catch in the original.
Yeah. But there's an achievement you get or a trophy when you hit 1,000. And then I think there's another couple achievements for running people over in a car and getting like a couple more thousand. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's just stupid fun. Like, I guess that's what video games are, but that's a game I'm not going to try to play with my kids that much, but it's good. And
it's so funny that they redid that one because I completely lost track of it. Like it didn't connect with me when it came out on the 360. I bought it, and for some reason it just didn't connect, so I didn't spend much time with it at all. And then it was just off my radar, period. Like I just forgot about it until they did the remaster, but it looks good. Maybe this time it would connect.
Yeah. When was the original here? I want to say it was
one
like
of the 360's launch titles.
It was
like the Christmas after.
2006.
2006 when it came out.
Yeah. I still got my disc.
Was it one of those that they promised to be a launch title and then it ended up getting delayed until like Christmas or something like that?
Well, I don't, because when companies say launch title, it's a window. It's like a 3 to 4 month window. So it may have been because the 360 launched in November of 2005, I think it was. Okay. And I think it was supposed to come out during the Christmas time, but it kept getting delayed.
On the back,
yes,
on the back, did you guys play Lost Planet? There's advertisement for
Yes.
Lost
Yep.
Planet.
Yes,
That's
I remember
cool.
Lost Planet.
I didn't play that one. Huh?
That's another Capcom game they could bring back. I love how there's still an instruction book on my copy. And there was a advertisement. If you put in a survey, you could be entered to win an HD TV, Chris.
Ooh.
One of these days you'll get one. And
Yep. One
know
day
what
I'll
it's
have
like.
an HD TV and I'll move past this 24-inch CRT that I'm currently watching everything on.
Hey, Meatball Saucy, that they're a pretender, I think. Right, Dathan?
Too soon to tell.
Too soon to tell.
Too soon to tell. Well, I'm more shocked about the not just the Seahawks, but how bad the injury report is every week, and it's only week 3 with all the star players that are getting injured real quick. It's a little concerning for the league right now.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers is still going.
He's upset though, but he's always upset. The concern with the Seahawks would be that the teams that they beat are not juggernauts of teams, and they barely beat them. But that actually doesn't. That's actually kind of the MO of the Seahawks under Carroll, but now they're not under Carroll. Would be I felt like under Carroll they played down to their opponent. They've got a new coach. I was hoping that they wouldn't do that anymore. So I'm not saying that's what's going on, but if they were under Carroll, it wouldn't be concerning that they're just barely beating bad teams. But at this point, I do think it's concerning. So I think it's too early to tell whether they're legit or pretender. The fan in me hopes that they're legit, but the fan in me also thinks that you can't judge them at all. Like, you can't have much hope right now.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
We can talk about
Denver has
later.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, they haven't won the game yet, but he's looked okay.
Yeah, he's new. Give him a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So Wednesday, all this stuff dropped. Apparently, this leak is real for the Switch 2, and it's going to be called the Switch 2. Apparently, is what I've been told or heard. This looks like an early development build or something, and they got the circuit board there. It looks very similar to the Switch we got now. There's lights in the middle of the Joy-Con, and I don't know if you could see that top one. There's a hole for a button that's not on the Switch right now. On that top Joy-Con on the bottom, it kind of looks like on the one on the left.
Is it a share button?
It kind of. Do you think they could put a share button on both of them? I don't know.
What on the top one, right?
Yeah, the top one. Yeah, because there's the home there's actual joypad, and then below that there's a home button, and then what's that hole right there? Is that another share button?
I don't know, because the Switch has like the screenshot button, right, where you just push it and it does the screenshot, correct?
Right, on the left, on
the left. So yeah, I don't know.
Out of curiosity, for you guys that have played Switch, is the size of the handheld portable thing, is it the right size, or is it like a cell phone where you're kind of like, well, it'd be cooler if it was bigger for the Switch 2 or smaller, or do you want it just to remain the same size?
If this is legit from all the, is this the only picture that you have of the Switch 2?
I have those. I can get those mock-ups that people do.
Yeah, I've seen them, and there was one that had I don't know if they're real or not, but they had ones that were they compared it to an OLED, and I guess the OLED has the 7-inch screen on it, but the Switch 2 has the 8-inch screen. So basically, It's just like it's it's hard to get super excited about this new console unless there's something that's going to be on the super extreme wow factor. Because if this is just like a Nintendo Switch OLED 2 or an upgrade or something like that. It's kind of, well, I mean, I guess we'll see.
Well, I was thinking that maybe where the feedback, the positive, like the hope would be, oh, maybe it'll do 4K gaming, or maybe it'll do, because isn't the Switch 1080, and it's like stuck at 1080 on TV, right?
On the TV, I think what they're going to say is the new version is going to be 4K on the TV, and it'll
Yeah,
be 1080 handheld, because right now it's 1080 on the TV, 720 on
on the
handheld.
handheld, right? So I was thinking that maybe the feedback would be like, well, it'd be sweet to have it finally 4K on my TV if that's where the majority of games get played. But I'm actually not sure, because with my kids, they play it on the TV. But I didn't know if the use case usually is actually it's a portable, console first, it's a handheld first, and then secondarily it's a TV sort of use things, or if it's the opposite that most people use it as.
Yeah, I'd probably say I'd use mine mostly on the TV. But
Okay.
Chris,
Yeah.
what do you think? How do you guys use it at your house?
Honestly never used it on the TV.
Okay, so
Really?
you primarily, you only exclusively handheld.
Yep, I primarily use it handheld. It's just been easier for me to do that, and then if I want to watch something while I'm playing, I can throw something on or listen to anything. But yeah,
Okay, so split so far in our family.
yeah, and it's funny because I have a Switch Pro controller, but I'm always like, I'm using this in handheld, and
Right.
I've never used it on the TV. So
Interesting.
It's supposed to be at least on par with the Series S, but with newer tech like DLSS upscaling feature. Right. We're all getting one. I put Nintendo like on my alerts this week, because like I saw this on Wednesday. I was like, man, I wonder if they're gonna respond and like announce this thing, and they didn't.
And they
So, but we didn't hear about them taking any of this down either. So, it's interesting. Oh, do we have some? There's Eric.
Hello, friends.
Eric.
We were just talking about the Switch 2 leak, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
I just lost my train of thought.
Did you have the dual screen? Is that right?
What?
I heard. I heard it was like a DS.
Really? There you go. Breaking news, Eric. Nintendo Switch 2 dual screen.
Is it not?
He came in hot out of the conference call with Nintendo of America.
Right, but okay.
That's why
So
you were late.
I was thinking that Nintendo was going to announce something this week, and they never did. So, but they didn't not allow it either. I did. The big news that Nintendo was happening is they were going to sue the Powell World.
Power World.
Develop. Yeah, so that's Chris's favorite game of the year, and that's going to be interesting because Nintendo doesn't mess around with their lawsuits. Usually when they have a case, they go after people, and some of those, I don't know what you call them, Pokemon or whatever, they look very similar to the original designs, just with guns, right, Chris? So
yeah, but
you think they have a case?
From what I've read, it's not the pals or the Pokemon that they're going after. It's the patent of throwing balls to catch the Pokemon is what they're suing them over. It's a patent lawsuit. And Nintendo is very aggressive when it comes to anything infringing on their patents or their copyrights. But they usually don't do anything unless they have a strong case.
Well, like Power World, how much money did it make this year? It's made a ton of money, more than any Pokemon game has made in the last couple of years. So I think if you're Nintendo, they saw them as a threat. How are we going to shut them down? And what's the best angle to take a lawsuit on them? So I think you're right. If that's the angle they're going to go after, with the throwing of the objects, because apparently they have that copyrighted. It seems crazy.
Yeah.
But
It's
of course, the next Pokemon will probably have guns too, and then maybe Pal World people sue them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm sure there's probably lawyers out there that can probably
Isn't a Leakrian a lawyer?
No.
Quick disclaimer on the Pal World Nintendo lawsuit. It is a patent infringement case. Sega famously sued the developers of Simpsons Road Rage for using their patented Crazy Taxi arrow. Yeah, that's sad. They need to bring back Simpsons Road Rage. That was a good game, too. Nintendo would have sued Digimon and a dozen others if they cared about creature design similarities. Yeah, you're a good point. Good point.
Yeah, I mean, is it racist to say that all the Japanese icon characters look the same? Is that racist? I don't know. I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying.
Wow.
You play Dragon World, it all looks the same, right?
What an ugly thing to say.
Well, I guess does Nintendo actually own Pokemon? It wasn't. It was created outside of Nintendo,
they're majority
right?
stakeholder in them, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then they could actually go after people that I wondered if it was that. Well, they can't sue these people because they're just licensing Pokemon as opposed to actually owning it, right?
Right.
But okay, so maybe not.
Yeah, what is it? Game Freak? Isn't that the name of the Pokemon company? No, I have no idea. I was never a big Pokemon person, so.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. I think what kind of got me into it was Pokemon Go during, that crazy period of time where everybody was outside, outdoors, walking around.
Oh yeah, you got to actually go. You went outside for once.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we need more games that make us go outside. Okay, so I want to talk about the PlayStation 30 and stuff. So, my promo video I pulled. So you guys we were hating on the PlayStation Pro last week. Now we don't know what the price is on all this shit yet. They didn't announce the price as far as I could tell. But what are you guys getting any of these now? Oh, okay.
I mean,
the PlayStation Portal.
The PlayStation Portal that connects to your PlayStation 5 that you can. It's a handheld.
Huh. So that's already out there in the market.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I want to get that controller at least. That looks dope.
It does look cool. I wish that they would improve its compatibility with PC because the DualSense is great on the PC, but that thing is a janky mess. Which is
and I wonder. So like they just raised the price to $85. I wonder if this is going to be like $90 or even more.
It's gonna be
that's
$100.
an Edge. It's going to be $100 something, right?
You're probably right.
I think the dual Edge. I think the dual Edge will be $250, and I think this will be $100.
Oh, I thought this was an Edge controller. I thought that's what they announced.
No, I don't have a
what
picture.
The beginning video said.
Because they have two controllers.
This one
they have the dual Edge, which is it's like the Elite. On I think they're 200 right now. And then you have the standard, which I think is 75 now. So I'm pretty sure that the dual edge will be, just because this is the 30th, they'll be $250 and $100. That's what I think.
Right. But didn't this, at the beginning of this video, didn't it say that this bundle is coming with an Edge controller? So isn't that controller an Edge controller, or is it not? Is it just a standard DualSense?
That's just the standard DualSense.
Oh, it is. My mistake.
It's right there.
And then if you continue the video, the next
there
one
it is. That's
the
what
Edge.
threw me off. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that was the Edge right there.
Yeah, that's what threw me off, was that they showed both real quick.
This one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably 250. I think Dathan, you're probably right on.
Yeah.
I do like this collection. I think it's pretty cool looking. I like the charging cable was like the old PS1 connector, to the console. I think that was pretty cool. But I mean, does anyone really think this is, they're making 12,300 consoles, and those are going to be gone in 5 seconds. We're not going to see the light. We're not going to see these. I think it's going to be the same for everything. I think all the bots are going to be gone. They're going to take everything within, the first 30 seconds of everything. And we know how PlayStation Direct, or getting anything on the PlayStation directly, is, especially with the Astro Bot controller. That was a shit show.
Right.
And I think this is going to be any different. So, I mean, I'll try to get a controller probably, but they are going to be at retail also. I think October 10th is when the pre-orders start for retail as well. I think the Best Buy and Amazon have set dates for that.
But PlayStation Direct is next week, isn't it? Next Thursday?
Friday. It's on
next Friday.
No, next. It is Thursday. Yeah, sorry. It's the same day that Zelda comes out.
Right.
But this is pretty fancy. This is cool. I do like it, and I was, Chris and I were chatting about if you did end up getting one of these, would you open it? Because the 20th anniversary version, I think it sold for $500, and I think an unopened, I think, is maybe $1,300 to $1,400. I could be more, I could be wrong. I think this is going to be up there too, and I think the price of this console is probably going to be around $10.99 to $11.99. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think it's going to go for about $1,500.
Chris, you getting one?
No.
How much longer does the PS5 have in life, if you're looking at Sony's average lifespan?
I think they're halfway through right now, so they've been in 4
Yeah.
years, so they got another 4 years.
They have another
after
4?
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they're right in the middle right now.
So then,
And
for a
then-
new buyer, one of these newer consoles would maybe make sense.
I think so. Maybe not this. Maybe not this.
Right,
this
but the other
version,
one that we
but-
looked at last week maybe
But
might.
but
right.
a version of the PS5, yes, or
Yeah,
maybe even
okay.
the Pro.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you wait. I wonder if any of this stuff will be at Costco, because they had the Astrobot controller at Costco with the game for like $10 cheaper a week later.
I don't think so. I think this is something a little bit more.
You might.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a little bit tougher to get. I don't. It's going to be select retailers. I think.
They might have it at Bimart. And then you
I
can
mean,
luck
they might
out
have
and
where
walk
you
into
shop
Bimart.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking back in the old days, like if you wanted a 360 when the 360 rush was on and Target
You went
was
to
constantly
Bimart?
going out, people were getting them there that I knew, because nobody would think to look there.
Right,
And
with
they
your
would get
fishing,
one.
your
and
old
it'd sit,
fishing
like, for a
tackle.
week. Yeah, right. And it would sit for a week in their electronics department. And this guy I know was like, oh, I got a 360. And I'm like, where'd you get that at? They've been sold out everywhere the minute they drop. And he's like, oh, I was actually in Bimart on Thursday and there was one sitting there, so I bought it.
I didn't even realize Bimart had an electronics department.
I didn't know that either until this guy got a
Wow.
360 back in the day from there when there was the rush on them. So yeah,
Wow.
they have they did like this off thing. So I'm thinking, like, when it comes to these PlayStation sort of hot commodities, nationwide, everybody's got like a place like that, right? Where there's just some random state store, like Fred Meyer used to be that way for us, right? Where it was like you could think to go there maybe, and not everybody would think of it to go try to get something day one or day two, and you'd luck out because they bought 5 for that store, and there would still be one sitting on the shelf because nobody thought to go there to pick one up, right? So I was thinking maybe you might be able to find something like that if they're being fair in their distribution, but they're probably not. It's probably going to, like, the big brick and mortar stores.
So I think I might try to get the controller. Dathan, are you going to try to get the controller at least?
I think so. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool.
It's going to be limited run on just the controllers too. They're not just a bunch of that color.
I don't. It's the collector's edition, so it's all that stuff they're doing 12,300 of. But they're going to sell the controller by itself as a standalone, so they may be doing more of those.
I think they are, because I know each of the consoles is numbered, from what I saw on something. I don't know if it was on there or not, but each console has and I don't think the controllers have that. So I'm sure there'll be a lot more controllers to go around.
Sane Spirit says he's getting the Pro, already secured my disc drive. But are you going to get this new 30th anniversary edition? So,
but yeah, it doesn't say on Sony's website how many of the controllers they're releasing. So
we'll see. That one. We'll see what the price is next week too. So we might have sticker shock.
Yeah, them not telling us is a little bit
That's bad. That's bad.
$99.
It might be something even worse than what we're thinking.
Yeah, it could be up to close to $1,500.
They called Apple and they asked them how to price it.
They need to recoup some of the losses they got from Concord. So I want to play this video. I don't know if you guys saw this. So there's a big PlayStation podcast or blog, and these guys got the scoop on Concord. So I want to play a little bit of this and just get your guys' reaction. If that sounds good. Let's see.
I want to talk about Concord. I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Oh, this one right here. No one is getting the 30th edition unless you're buying it on eBay for double the price from a scalper.
Sounds like a challenge.
Let's see what we can do. All right.
You ever talk about this game again?
And let me just say, too, I've never even seen these guys before. So maybe I should be in the know. I don't know. There's so many people on the internet. We're a bunch of unknowns, but like you'd think I would have heard of some of these guys, but I don't know.
Who really gives a shit? However, gives a shit? And I don't do journalism really anymore, as you guys know, and we talk about this a lot. I was a journalist at one time, and I used to break a lot of stories, and these days I don't really grind like that. So the stories that I break these days are usually always people coming to me. And someone who worked on Concord reached out to me, and I verified who this person was and went through all of that and talked to this person extensively, for a long time. Ooh. And got some, I think, interesting information that I can share about Concord. I think people will be interested about it. The reason that I wanted to talk about it is because some of the assumptions that I had made about the game were dead wrong as far as how much it cost and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing that you really need to know here about this is that Concord cost about $400 million to make.
Oh my God.
And the story goes that Concord, by the time Concord was, so in the first quarter of 2023, Concord had basically entered an alpha state. This was before Sony had even purchased the team. But Sony had been working with Probably Monsters, which was the original owner of Firewalk and Firewalk, probably since late 2020, maybe 2021 at the latest on Concord. The game was in development before that. Up to the point that the game went into alpha state, they had already spent about $200 million on it. And it's unclear how much of that money is from probably Monsters and the original investors into the game, and how much of that money was from Sony. There's this term in product development, not only with games, but really with everything. You can like manufacture a tchotchke. You guys might have heard of it. It's called minimum viability, or a minimum viable product. Mm-hmm. The idea behind this, or MVP, the idea behind this is that this is like what you're trying to achieve, and it's like once you cross this barrier, you feel comfortable selling it. It's not that it's the best it can be, or that it's what it's going to be by the time you launch it, because there's all sorts of extra stuff you do to it. But like, this is the minimum viability of the product. When the game had already had $200 million spent on it and was basically in an alpha form in Q1 of 2023, from that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it. The scuttlebutt behind the scenes about Concord is that the game was in a laughable shape when it was shown, and basically like when the alpha was ready to go, and they were kind of being like, we're ready to kind of get moving towards getting this thing out in the next year or two. It was in such horrible shape that Sony felt like they needed to spend that much money again. So, 200 plus 200 to get the game to the MVP status, not to the status of it being like a great game, to get it to just viability. And that at that time in Q1 2023, there was nothing done. Like, a major expense was having to urgently outsource much of the game to other studios to finish building the game out. And that two fundamental things were not worked on at all up to the point in which the game was shown in alpha. Onboarding, nothing about that. No, like there was nothing about how players get on, like how they make their character, all that kind of stuff, or, choose their character and get there. And monetization. Two very expensive, very specific and boutique things that happen to games like this. And so that's the first thing that I wanted to say, is that it's not only about the ongoing cost, which would be in the millions to keep the game going per month, but that the game cost about $400 million to make, soup to nuts. Sony put most of that money in, and it is not only so, because we had kind of said like this must be Sony's biggest loss ever on a game, and it is. It's the biggest game Sony's ever released from a budgetary standpoint, from the first party or second party. So let that sink in.
It's crazy,
and it's totally unintuitive. There are games that are in development right now at Sony first and second party that are more expensive than this. But as of the games that have come out so far, so think about like Spider-Man 2 and so on and so forth. We know The Last of Us Part 2 cost $220 million. Spider-Man 3 is going to cost about $350 million. This game cost more than that. And they lost all of it because they made no money. They made about $1 million gross revenue, and then they gave it all back. So this is a huge, multiple hundreds of millions of dollar loss. Now the question is, why? Why did this happen?
So anyway, really insightful there, if that's all to be believed. $400 million loss.
That Colin Moriarty guy, I was just drinking the other night and I was screwing with him.
You were the one.
He wasn't talking. Yeah. He checked his sources. It was just me.
Right.
All that stuff up.
He's got the sources there.
Yeah. He just asked if I was really a guy at Sony, and I said, yeah.
Chris, any Dathan, Eric, thoughts?
Think about all the homeless people they could have housed with $400 million.
Oh, it'd be, they could have solved a lot.
I mean, that's just what kind of business decision is that?
That's
a $400 million mistake.
I missed. If he said it, I missed it. Did he? Did he say how much they purchased this studio for initially? Because I thought that was the $400 million that they paid for. But if he's saying whatever the purchase price was plus an additional $400 million,
I think he was wrapping it all into one thing, like a gross failure.
From what I heard, is
Well-
Sony spent 200. I don't know what the purchase price of the studio was, but 200 million on just the game development to get it into alpha state, and then Sony spent another 200 million to get it into a playable state. This is not their polished state. This is just a state that it could actually be presented. So yeah, that's wild. Dathan, Professor.
Well, I mean, I'm not super surprised at all with all the decisions that are being made by Sony as of late. You know, 400 million, that is a good chunk of change. I think they could have easily used that money. They could have vested that into something a little bit better than a game that lasted 7 hours on the shelf and then they decided to pull it. I don't know. I'm not surprised.
So yeah, that's why the PlayStation Pro 30th anniversary is going to cost us some money, because we got to make up for some of their mistakes here. But apparently Eric's gone. The lead I don't know what's the lead guy for a game, the producer or the
director.
Yeah, apparently the director, they made him step down to a lesser role, is what I also read. So yeah, not good for someone's career.
I just wonder. I mean, this game wasn't on my radar to begin with. I only found out about it when it released and then just dived. Other than that, I didn't really know much about it, except it was seemingly a kind of ripoff of the Blizzard game, the
Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch, right?
Yeah.
Which I've played a handful of times. So I was like, okay, whatever. That's not something I'm interested in, or else I just play Overwatch. I find it interesting that I mean, what did they think? I mean, what was the buzz about this? Like, why would somebody spend this much money on this game?
Well, I just found an article where Sony, the CEO of Sony, their game plan going forward was to release 12 live service games by 2025.
Okay, so it would fit into that 12, and so it was
Yes.
just panics on to just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 12 out the door a year.
Yep. And
Okay.
and my guess is it's all based on Fortnite. Fortnite
Yeah.
is currently the monster live service game. It brings in billions of dollars a year for Epic.
Yeah.
And so obviously everybody's like, we're gonna chase after the white whale. And this is not.
So what is the monetization in Fortnite? How does that game make its money? Is it just buying cosmetic stuff?
Yep, it's just cosmetics.
Okay, so it doesn't give you a competitive advantage, just cosmetic stuff, and
No,
that's the end of it.
It's just cosmetics, and I mean, sure, there's a lot of cosmetics they put out on a regular basis, and so there's a lot of, kids that are saying, "Hey, mom, dad, I really want this new Spider-Man skin, but it's going to cost me 1,200 V-bucks or whatever, so I need to pay $20."
Right,
And
sure.
parents are like, "Leave me alone. Shut up, kid. Here, go buy your skin." Whatever the case may be. Fortnite is one of those that every once in a while I'll kind of hop in and I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, but then I'm done with it. And I don't spend any money on it. So I'm like, the free to play aspect of it is another thing that like draws people in.
Sure.
Which is why Concord made no sense as a live service. You're going to charge, 50, 60 bucks for a game that's live service. And maybe down the road, you're going to charge people to acquire more stuff. Who knows?
Right.
So it was one of those, it's one of those games that all the way around, you look at it and there's just nothing that makes sense outside of we're chasing a white whale. We want the money that's coming in on this one game, and everybody's trying to do it.
But Overwatch kind of did that, right? Because they charged $50 for the base game and then extra for the cosmetics. So maybe that's where they were thinking, like, okay, we can do that as quote unquote DLC or whatever.
Yeah, I never played Overwatch, so I don't know. I think Overwatch 2 went free to play.
You never played Overwatch?
Entirely?
No. The hero shooter genre just wasn't.
Yeah, you're not missing out on much in my opinion.
Shocking.
Real quick, Steps Gaming is here. Thank you. Are you guys going to stop by booth 753? Chris, you need to look up what booth 753 is on PRGE's website. You better have a free sticker or something. She's going to sign us up for a timeshare. But yeah, Sony, stop listening to Western studios. They're failing you. This was the game they thought they were gonna, they definitely bet big on. And I think 8 years ago when this game started development, these kind of games were super hot, and man, they
that's true too, right? Because it was 8 years sitting there in the boiling pot,
right?
So a lot changes. Gosh,
you got to be future thinking. You got to think ahead, like what kind of game are people going to want to play 5-10 years from now? That's kind of what you got to think as a game developer. Like I know, like Grand Theft Auto 6. No, that game's been out, or that game's been in development probably 10 years. They got to think, someone's mic is whose mic?
I don't have a mic. It's not me.
It's not me because I was muted.
All right, we're getting some static somehow. But maybe it's me.
Probably is you.
It's all coming
when you touched your mic
from inside the house.
I don't know.
Inside the house.
Oh, she says it's my booth. Give kids the world village. Nice. Okay, thank you. Overwatch had DLC cosmetics, but new characters were free for life. That one is suspected theory as Overwatch 2 coming out, so they didn't have to upload that promise anymore and could monetize more. Yeah.
So the danger that companies get into, and I've seen this a lot now, is where you is where you sit and you look at a trend for monetization. And you say, okay, that's the hot way to make money right now. So I'm going to do that. If you can turn that idea around in 3 months to 6 months to 3 quarters, then good on you. But if you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, the trend right now is subscriptions, and everybody's making a killing on subscription service. So I'm going to make something that takes advantage of that. But it's going to take me 4 to 5 years to launch it. You better be ready for the market to say, never mind, I'm done doing subscriptions.
Yeah.
Now I want to buy physical copies, right? So that's something that we see time and time again in business, where a trend goes up for the way that you monetize something, and then people get sick of it, and they revolt against it, and they spend their money getting the same thing but in a different way, right? And I think that is ultimately then what, being 8 years in development, the world changes too much for something like that, right? And you're seeing a revolt on freemium stuff. I saw that already, where people were like, I'm not doing the freemium thing anymore, I want to buy the game outright. We're seeing that with Eric, the leader of the charge, on no DLC, I want the entire game right away. You're starting to see Ubisoft get a lot of flack for that. So it won't be long until that flips around, where it's like, no, charge me what you're going to charge me for the game, and I want the whole thing. I think that is something that every industry deals with. and it sounds like in Sony's case, it bit them in a huge way. With that whole we want 12 games a year for live
Oh, yeah.
service.
Yeah. No, it's I think the whole live service
Yeah,
thing
that's
has
right.
started to
Steph's
die
gaming,
off.
right.
So
I mean, and the subscription thing is funny because at the same time that I say that, World of Warcraft still rakes in a ton of money. And that was a buy the game at $60 and then pay me on top of that for the server farm that I've got to have to hold this up. And that game is still going strong. So I know that I'm talking out one side of my mouth and then reasoning a different, in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, there actually are examples of this still working. But if I was Sony, I'm just surprised that Sony would fall for something like that with how long they've been in business, that somebody wouldn't have said, you know what, it's going to take 4 years. We don't know what the market's going to do, and if this is what we're banking on getting our money back, we better be ready for a plan B, because they didn't have one, because they just cut bait and ran. And that's probably the most shocking thing, is that there was no way to salvage what they had into something that they could just monetize and switch gears with it that way. Because the game was done, right? Like it was
done.
released.
I kind of want to play it now.
Yeah.
So that's the allure for me. Like they shut it down. Now I want to play it.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to play it.
Well, maybe they should release one that you can host locally, right?
Right.
Like where we can just co-op deathmatch or whatever, just based off local area network or based off of just a web host, right?
Well, people
Host it up
complain
in
about
AWS and call it a good day.
people complain about game preservation. Like this is the game that needed to be preserved because people will be talking about it later. Like this is the game that lost Sony $400 million. Well, let's play it. Well, we can't.
Or here's here's an excuse for you to use your soundboard. Maybe the conspiracy is that this is what they did to drum up, the interest, and then they're gonna relaunch the game and make a killing. Yeah. Maybe there's some conspiracy theory to it, right? Maybe they're smarter than us.
Yeah.
Maybe they were playing the game and playtesting and said, our biggest quality issue with this game is it's boring as hell. So let's throw a conspiracy at it to drum up some interest and revisit it in a year.
I think a lot of game companies, you want to be realistic and conservative. You want to have a when you make a game, you want to make sure it's a winner, and you want to get your revenue for sure. Like you want to satisfy your stockholders. You want to help take care of your customers. And like putting out a game like Spider-Man, like unless you make the game really bad, I think someone's going to be happy. But like if it's a brand new franchise, I guess they've got some of the characteristics of Overwatch or these live service games, but that was such a risk just to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That should have put a red flag in the executives at Sony's brain, say, whoa, wait a minute, but they didn't. They went forward. Someone had to okay this.
Well,
and
Destiny 2 is the same idea too, isn't it? Like it's the same monetization. I don't play Destiny 2,
and
but I have
Destiny 2, I think they've been having their own problems too. Bungie,
Okay.
Bungie is not in a good state right now.
Okay. I know I have friends who play Destiny 2 like a lot, and I've downloaded it because of that. But I hopped in, and then I was just like, this just isn't really my genre. It's not my thing.
Yeah, Steps, everyone here does have a totally different background. So we got our PC guy, or kind of got maybe two PC guys. Definitely a hardcore NES guy. And then we just got this crazy guy right here that I've known since elementary school or whatever. So it all works out.
Background as far as like what's behind us.
Yeah, I think she's in a lot of streams from the home arcade people, and I know I've got my Simpsons home arcade 3/4 scale here, but there's I've kind of moved on from those topics because I just don't think they're as interesting to talk about anymore. Maybe if Arcade 1UP put out some new products that I thought were interesting and worth buying, then I'd love to jump into it, but it
Well,
just
maybe if
seems like
Stern makes a real go at this home pinball table stuff that they're doing.
Oh
with the
yeah,
new one, right?
are they gonna
That
do
could
a
be-
home X-Men? Right.
That could be cool.
I'd be down. I'd be down to.
Still a little bit more than I want to spend.
I can't
but,
convince the
you
wife
know.
to give me
Yeah.
$47.99
I
yet.
know. It's almost within reach. Almost.
We could talk about Dathan. Dathan, you texted me during the week, and you got me so sad because apparently Stern had canceled their not a press conference, their panel about X-Men at PRGE, but then it's back on, so we're okay.
Oh, they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Were you asleep at last week's show?
Yeah, I guess. At least, well, yeah. I thought that they had canceled this week. I thought that I got the news that they canceled this week.
Yeah, it's back on.
Okay.
Yeah, so the creator of X-Men, Jack Danger, I think that's his name, he's going to be there. I think he's the one that made the Jurassic Park Stern, and I think a couple others. He may have done Foo Fighters too. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure someone in the chat will tell me. But yeah, that's going to be really exciting. So, in a week.
Yep, a week from tomorrow. Should be good.
Travis, are you going? Are you going to the PRGE?
I am not. I'm trying to avoid crowds right now. So, yeah, I'm hanging. Staying low. It's to the point where if I go to the gym and there are too many people there, then I just leave and go back at a time when there are less people there. So, yeah, I have a feeling that PRG is going to be packed with people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's always packed with sweaty nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It helps build the immune system. You just go up and lick yourself.
That's my problem. That's my problem. Is I'm going to be taking something that's going to wipe me out here for a couple months. So I'm trying to dodge as much as I can as I get ready for this in a week.
So, hey, Meatball Saucy. So he says there's a launch party at Next Level. Like, I've looked on their website. I did not see anything about a launch party for X-Men yet. So I wonder if it's going to be the next week after PRGE, because it doesn't make sense to me that they're going to run at the same time as PRGE. Mm-hmm. I also saw they're going to have a pinball tournament
be there
Next Level is going to be at PRGE, but they're going to run a tournament at PRGE, a pinball tournament. So all the pinball players are going to be at PRGE anyway. Mm-hmm. So it just doesn't make sense to me why they would have an X-Men launch party on that weekend. So, and I haven't seen anything on their website. So if you see something, I mean, please put it in the chat or whatever. But like, I want to go to that. I'd be interested. How is the weather at Mount Rainier this time of year?
Usually crappy, but now it's gonna be nice, right?
That's Seattle. We need Steps needs a little geography lesson.
Well, halfway in between.
Yeah. It's Mount Hood. I think that's the one you want to go to.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Mount St. Helens. Maybe you heard of that one.
That's the one you want to go to. That's the one you want to go to.
Unless it's like, right? Unless you like hear like a trimmer.
No, even then.
Oh, right.
That's a good way to go out.
Saying this is the topic I almost avoided this. I need him to talk about this. Is Dathan going to see Transformers 1 this weekend, or does he consider it an abomination?
So, I saw the movie yesterday, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
Really?
They did a very, very good job with it. There is 0 people doing crappy soundboards in it.
Did people clap at the end? Did you clap at the end?
Yeah, did you clap at the end or at the beginning?
Like Eric wanted you to.
I did not, and the reason why is because this is not as well. Spoiler. Okay, there are 2 end credit scenes. There's a mid credit and an end credit.
Yeah.
What?
So I don't think this is an end spoiler, but because you probably see it, but the end credit scroll scene, the credit crawl, is the same background as the 1986 movie. That's kind of it's the same thing, but it's kind of a little different variation where it's kind of frozen in time in the scroll thing. So that was really cool. So I was focused on that whole thing and trying to, there was only 6 people watching it that were in the auditorium with us.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice, and I was able to talk to my wife and do all, that was good. But to the movie, there's a lot that goes on. A lot. There's constant group shots of multiple Decepticons and Autobots, and you're trying to pinpoint, hey, that's Jazz and Ratchet, and there's the Seekers, and they're all over the place. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening consistently. There are 0 humans in it. It's just all robots, which is good.
No Shia LaBeouf or
No, there's none of that.
Wait, you mean this doesn't take place on Earth?
Nope, there's no mention of any other.
What about this guy? Is he in the movie?
That's entirely inaccurate. That no shithead with a soundboard or anything like that.
I mean, I don't know anything about Transformers except just the toy. But if they're not from Earth, then why are they Earth objects?
So, if I keep going, if I kind of answer that question,
Yeah,
Does
we
it
have another
spoil the
hour.
movie?
What's that?
Does it spoil the movie? Like, is that what the movie's about?
No, it does. They don't. It's not. No,
Like it's an origin story?
Yeah.
Yes, it's an origin story, but there are elements to it that kind of explain why what they are.
Okay.
So, but one of the coolest parts of the movie is you see the transformations of Megatron being this teenager transform into this, despises everything, despises Optimus and Cybertron and all that, which is pretty cool because you get to see his eyes start yellow in the movie, and then by the time that you can start seeing him get redder and redder as the movie kind of goes on. But without ruining anything, I just go watch it. It is fantastic. And
How'd Buscemi do?
What's that?
How's Steve Buscemi in it?
He did okay. He was
Starscream.
He's Starscream, right?
Yes, he was Starscream. Yes. Okay. So I won't spoil that. He was Starscream, and then
No spoilers.
At the beginning, he was Starscream.
So were any of the actors though, since they were like A-list celebrities, were any of them like jarring because you're like, okay, I can totally tell that's Scarlett Johansson?
Yes. Yeah, you could totally tell, and you could. Lawrence Fishburne was Alpha Trion, and you could definitely tell that was him. I mean, as soon as he spoke, you knew that was him.
It kind of took you out of the animation, I guess, is what I was curious about.
Right? A little bit, but the part where that was kind of a big part of the movie, so I was more focused on what was happening on the screen and instead of that's Morpheus, that type of thing.
Okay.
But it is a fantastic movie. I'm definitely going to check it out again just so I can kind of see all the stuff that I missed the first time. There's a lot of callbacks to the original series, the original toy commercials. There's a lot of callbacks to. But it's if you're a Transformers fan, I highly recommend.
Is it 2 hours long or is it longer than that?
It was an hour, just under 2 hours. If you stay to the very end credits, I think it was just under 2 hours. I think.
Okay.
And the
I've
end
gotten overwhelmingly positive reviews, is what I had seen. So I'm
my niece
surprised,
really
to be
liked it.
honest.
So.
Yeah, my guess is that I was kind of shocked that there was only just a few people in the auditorium, but I think with the word of mouth and it gets out like it's a good film, people that don't, go on Rotten Tomatoes or re-reviews or whatever, I think that it'll start to pick up a little bit.
Well, what time did you go to? Because sometimes
I
that
went
plays
at
into
a
it, right?
5 p.m. show.
Oh, well then no, that should have had people.
Yeah.
Is there a hidden message in the movie about, how we need to treat our youth so they don't go bad? And this, what do you think the message is that we're
Sounds
trying to
really
send
bad.
here?
I don't. I don't really think there was a message that like the GI Joe. What were those called back in the day? The GI Joe.
The more you know,
PSAs.
or
the PSAs, the GI
Yeah,
Joe.
Yeah, at the end of it, they
the
had
Mr. T
something,
ones, those were the good ones.
Yeah, it wasn't. There wasn't anything like that, but you do see the evolution of Orion Pax, becoming more knowledgeable and more wiser as he's understanding what's going on. I'm trying not
So
to
maybe knowledge is power.
Well, I'm trying not to give spoilers away because it's there's a lot of things that kind of
Maybe
coincide.
it's who wants a body massage? I think is the secret message. That you...
Oh, God.
Yeah, don't give him the stick, that type of thing.
Pork chop sandwiches, I think, is really what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
you can buy all the cool toys on aisle 39 of Target.
Oh yeah, that probably is the hidden message, wouldn't you say, Dathan?
I would think
I saw
it's-
there's like
yeah.
a new Optimus Prime you can get right now that's like really hot. Like,
You can't get it right now. Is the
boy,
problem?
there's one that has the trailer,
Yeah.
Dathan.
That is the that's
brand new one. There's a brand new one.
The 40th anniversary Walmart exclusive.
Oh God, I hate those Walmart exclusives.
Yeah, they're they're a pain in the ass to get. But
Don't do it. Yeah.
The Transformer 1 toys aren't too bad. They're very my buddy Chris, who I've talked about before, he picked up a few of them, picked a few of the Optimus Primes, and they're pretty detailed, pretty articulate. I'm probably gonna pass on them. Maybe I'll pick up one or two later on. But I don't think, obviously, Transformers was made to sell toys. We all know that back in the day. But I don't think there was really a push to there is going to be, they already greenlit a sequel, I guess, already.
Are there any GoBots in the film?
No.
Oh, the way you're acting sounds like there might be.
No, but there is. There's
No spoilers.
Okay.
Oh man, dude, you got me. That response right there. Whoa.
Yeah, my
I
brother
won't
got
say.
the Optimus Prime bucket and the what's the
Chris, didn't you get something?
Bumblebee? The Bumblebee large drink also. So
Oh, is
there's-
Bumblebee
Yeah, I
in
got
the
the
movie?
I got the drink cup with the Optimus Prime head as a lid. But they don't give you a straw that's long enough to actually like stick
Use
out
it.
through the top.
Sure.
So
you have to
kinda
immediately
to-
take it off.
Yep.
Is it dishwasher safe?
Yes, it is. But
I
I,
don't
wouldn't
think-
do.
I don't think this one is dishwasher safe.
I mean, the lid comes off, so the cup's dishwasher safe,
Yeah.
but the head lights up. So
All right, I might have to go see that movie now.
is it better than the 1986 one?
No.
Really?
No. It's good. It's really good, but the 1986 it stands alone as its own iconic feature. One of my top 5 movies of all time.
Who's the guy that voices Optimus Prime? Is he in the new movie?
Peter Cullen.
Yes.
No
Does
comment.
he-
No
No
comment.
spoilers.
What?
You said no spoilers. I'm
Yeah.
not going to spoil
That
it.
means
Yeah.
he's in it.
I
that
didn't
means he's
say
in it.
that. I didn't say that he was.
That
I
means
didn't
he's
say that
in
he
it,
isn't.
though. Yeah, but you would say no. Just tell. You can't give me a yes or a no.
He said
I
no
get because
comment.
there may be some people that are. I don't want to disappoint my fans on the chat, so I'm not gonna say yes or no.
Alikrian says he's playing Funko Fusion at a bargain value. I recommend it. Has a whole bunch of 80s properties. The Thing and He-Man worlds are really cool. Yeah, I think I was considering getting that for my son because I heard it has Jurassic Park stuff, but I really despise those Funko Pops with a passion. Like, I do not want to. I have a couple ones I've got from baseball games, and I've got one. I've got somehow I got a Star Wars one. I do not want to collect those things. But yeah, speculation spoiler. Yeah, that means he's in it.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
And there's a
He
GoBot
was.
in the movie. There's some kind of GoBot reference in the movie. I'm calling that right now. Yep.
Just go watch the film. We'll stop talking about it. Everyone just go watch it and then come back next week and then we'll
Okay.
talk about it.
Can we? Yeah, let's all go see it next week. Yeah.
Gonna go see Sunday. So
okay, perfect. I might go see it tomorrow then. We'll see. Someone take Eric.
Eric, let's go watch it Sunday.
Okay.
We'll get you.
Sunday
We'll get you the bubble boy. We'll get you the big old bubble.
I'm not doing that anymore.
He doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
back.
It's role reversal. Now it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steps Gaming says, when I was a kid, we couldn't afford Transformers, so we had GoBots instead.
Yeah.
Like, my parents didn't tell me what the price was. That's why I just got GoBots.
Sure.
But I just remember GoBots being awesome. So it was like, maybe they broke easier. But
I would say the average GoBot had more points of articulation than the average Transformer did. So,
take
it
that.
wasn't a bad toy.
Yeah.
What I want is I want a movie, a modern movie about the Battle Beasts. Action packed. They run up to each other
and rub each other's
thumb on
chests.
their chest and go, "I'm wood. I beat water."
And then 5 minutes later, he comes back.
Destroys, yeah.
Are the Dinobots in the movie?
Oh yeah, Dinobots
No comment.
and Insecticons.
I thought we were moving on.
And the Devastator guy, I think that was his name.
Honestly, I can't remember all those. I can't. So
yeah.
Well, they probably would have been in the big shot you were talking about, where it was like, you look and try to see.
I do not
what
recall.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying, because when I was saying that there were group shots, there's probably 50 or 60 different Transformers in those shots, and you're seeing just like the tops of heads and just like kind of like the backs and the bodies and stuff. And even with like some of the shot, in the trailers, you saw like the Decepticons like in a far away shot, and so you're trying to kind of figure out who those Transformers were. So trying to, so when I say like I don't know if they were there, I don't know, because I couldn't pinpoint. I only maybe picked out maybe 9 or 10 per different screenshot, because it happened so fast.
When you buy the physical DVD, you'll be able to tell us.
Yeah, and I'm sure that if you go on Reddit, people have probably videotaped it and they screenshotted it, or they've posted like, "Oh, this is this person, and this person that's right there." So,
I can totally see them doing a beat 'em up Transformers or GoBots. I know Microsoft owned the rights to a couple of those. I think they own the rights to a couple of those Transformers games that they were planning on re-releasing, and I'm surprised they're not out yet for this movie. The Fall of Cybertron game, and there was another one, Dathan.
The War for Cybertron, I think High Moon Studios did those in the late 2000s, I think it was, 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
But they were delisted.
They were delisted, and then they were, I think, Activision. It's the Transformers games and also the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games.
Yeah. Now that Microsoft owns Activision, so they could.
So those games they're on the store, but you can't. They're not available to. I think you can download them, but you can't play them. They're not playable. I don't think yet. So
But
they'll
maybe
eventually go up.
it's okay that if they don't want to put it out yet, because there's so many games right now. And next, I think it just came out today, or I'm getting my copy next week. Is the Karate Kid beat 'em up is coming out, and then we'll have Power Rangers beat 'em up, and then we'll have Toxic Avenger beat 'em up, and I think I'm missing still another one. There's a lot people want a copy of that Ninja Turtle beat 'em up style because that was a really popular game. I still have both games for my 360. Does Dathan, do you still have your games?
The
Transformers.
Transformer games. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Take that, Saiyan spirits. Anyway, all right, we convinced us. We're gonna go see that movie. Yeah, should be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was the peer pressure, a-hole. That's what.
Oh man, now he's mad again. All right, so yeah, I think next week though is PRGE. I'm still planning on probably having a show Friday, but we'll be there Saturday. I think you met Chris. Yeah. So Dathan, you were planning on being there Friday. So if you are, you need to
Yeah, I
give us
think
some scoop.
Eric and I are going to go Friday morning. I think that was the tentative plan. I think that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I'll be there on Saturday, and then probably Sunday to get the deals if I can. I don't know what Eric's plan is for Sunday yet, so we'll figure it out.
So yeah, if maybe we need to do a little game planning and seeing what booths to go to first. I don't know if you want to go see the Stern first, or there's a couple other booths that might be interesting to go look at. New Wave Toys, Quarter Arcades. Those are the ones that come to mind too. And I don't know if Limited Run is having some exclusive. Yeah, they probably haven't announced yet. So,
well, we got to stop by booth 753.
right.
You know, so maybe we go get a beer and then go visit.
Yeah, and yeah, if you guys, on Saturday, I want to go to that Spirit of 76 across the street, and we'll get a beer before we go. Sounds good to me.
I like that plan.
Maybe I'll get 6 beers just to kind of get myself.
I want to be able to drive home, so I'm not.
That's Chris's plan is better.
Oh, are you serious? No. What? New Wave Toys isn't going to PRGE. They decided to go to Pinball Expo instead?
Yeah, they are not on the list.
What the
Wow.
Well, that's lame.
I guess no 6-inch video game system from New Wave Toys.
Well, a quarter arcades then. I know Quarter Arcades is going because they've announced it publicly several times, but well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Quarter Arcades is the way to go. I am having a raffle though at my booth for the New Wave Toys Coke Machine, 2 Glen Retro Show Build-A-Cades, and a GRS Flight Yoke. Nice. How many timeshares do we have to sign? Chris already has a couple, so he can't take on too many more.
Yeah. I do enjoy sitting through a 6-hour presentation about how I can get a timeshare and the Bocatos. No.
Oh, when we went to Mexico a while ago, like, man, they tried to sign us up so many times. It was ridiculous. The raffle is to benefit Give Kids the World Village. Okay. It sounds legit.
They have a website. That means they are legit.
We hope so. I'm sure it is. Sounds great. Cool. Can't wait to see you. Anyway, I guess it's been an hour or 30 minutes. We'll let you guys go. We'll go see Transformers and get ready for the show next week. Maybe the Switch 2 will get announced officially, and we'll see. You guys have any final thoughts before I cut you guys off? I am not selling timeshares. Give the Kids the World Village, a resort for children that has cancer or critical illness. Okay. Sounds good. Awesome.
Sounds like something a timeshare would say.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
That's how we get you in the door.
Yeah, right.
Well, can you support Eric? Because he had pretty much a critical illness, right?
I'm not a child, and I'm
Can
good
we say
now.
you're 10?
No, I'm all right.
Well, it's the if people want to go check out their website is gktw.org, and they have all the information here on it. It does look like there's a lot. If you're looking for a nonprofit to help, this looks like it might be a good one.
Cool.
So,
Awesome. Saying Spirits, thanks for coming on. Meatball Saucy, have a great weekend. Thank you. Thanks for being part of the show, you guys. Yeah, give the video a like, consider subscribing. We'll see you on the next one. We're just getting started, you guys. This channel, we're going places. My channel just hit 1,000, so now we can begin. And let's get Chris up to 1,000 too. He's next.
I'm just trying to get to 69. After that, I'm good.
Yeah. He's got to find his audience with the Twilight videos, but they're out there. Steps, thank you so much. Yeah, have a great one. Hope to see some of you.
Yep.
And we will see you out there. Have a good night, guys.